this morning for today's service. And I'll start with announcements. On behalf of the worship committee, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Pat Moore, and our minister is Reverend Stephen Robinson. We stream all our Sunday services on YouTube and Zoom, and you're always welcome to join us in any way you choose. For more information about the UUCC, please visit our website, which is at uucolumbia.org. And follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We're also providing weekly email updates each Thursday. We warmly welcome all families with children and offer child care for our services for infants and children up to the age of 4. If you're interested in being a volunteer, please check with Bethany Strelazzi. We have a designated seating area also right in the back there, and you're invited to join that with children of ages 4 to 7, or if you're a grown-up and you just can't stay still, you can go back there too. And anybody back there should feel free to bring the toys that are available at the very back of the social hall for quiet play too. And today, children over 4 will transition to CYRE activities after the story for all ages. If you'll now join us for our prelude.
I invite Chalice Voices forward to sing A Light of Hope, a Song of Peace by Mark Burrows.
Sorry, it's hard to move that fast. Now's the time for our congregational covenant. If you will please rise in body and spirit and join me in the congregational covenant that's in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge in freedom, and to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Thank you, Alyssa. Welcome, everybody, on this cold morning. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion, and our community is founded on deeds, not creeds. We're a covenantal religion, which means we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other the same, which is to say with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. We place love at the center of our values, embracing and welcoming all people. Our board and committee members welcome your questions and comments, and if you've got really hard questions, the board members are wearing green name tags. We're delighted to welcome all of our guests and visitors today. So I'd like to ask you to, I've forgotten, I talked to 3 people. Who's passing around the microphone? Okay. When it's your turn, please share your name and where you're from. And if you have guests, feel free to introduce them as well.
Hello, everyone. This is my grandma. She's from Colorado. And care to introduce yourself?
Ella Bloom from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Welcome, Ella.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nina Gray, and long time no see. And I want to introduce, some of you know my sister, Susan Gray. Want to stand up? And my brother-in-law,
John Hartz.
John Hartz.
Welcome, Susan. Is there anybody else? There's one more.
Good morning. My name is Bill Minikevich, and this is sort of a homecoming for me because I was a member 40 years ago when you were down across from the mill. Then I married a Catholic. But I'm back.
Welcome back, Bill. Better late than never. Yeah, there's one back there. By the way, welcome, Nina, coming all the way from New York, where it's even colder, right? Similar, good.
I'm Marlene Trader, but this has nothing to do with me. Just on the way in, I ran into Francis Gamble, who attended here some time ago and grew up here, and he got a call from his mother and had to run.
Oh.
So I thought I should at least let you all know he was here, and he left money for the offering, so.
Aw.
I'm Mike Sullivan, and my oldest friend of about 65 years is visiting, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Good morning, Charles Puglisi, Long Island, New York, Shelter Rock Congregation. Thank you.
Oh, welcome, Charles. Is that? That's okay. Okay.
Hey, I'm Pam Jolly. I live in Irmo, so this is a bit of a hike, and this is my first time here.
Welcome. I think that's it. Thank you. If you'd like to learn more about the UUCC, just fill out a visitor card that's in the backs of the chairs, and nobody will come to visit, but we will send you some emails. Now's the time to light our chalice, and I will invite Artemis Ureta up here to light our chalice. Artemis is the granddaughter of a long-term member that was here when I joined, John and Sue Ureta. Thank you, Artemis. Spirit of light and life coming to us.
I invite Janice Cars to lead our opening song. Give a special thanks to guitarist and singer Kevin McKinney for leading a lot of the music in today's service.
All right, today we're singing This Joy, and we want you to join along. The words are really, really hard. We're just going to say them over and over again. In this case, we're actually switching up the words a little bit to go with the 4 tenets of Advent. So our change of words will be hope, joy, peace, and love. So we're going to start with, this hope that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This hope that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This hope that I have, the world didn't give it to me. But here's where it changes. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. So we're going to repeat that together, and we'll switch up. Hope, joy, peace, and love.
Thank you, Kevin and Janice. Invite our children to come down for our story for all ages. Meet me down front on the carpet. Good morning. Everybody bring the right toy that you needed? Yep. Hey, you always have options. We're Unitarian Universalists. You always have options. That's what we're all about. He's always so happy to see me.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right. So we're going to keep it really short this morning because you got some busy stuff to do this morning. You're going to be practicing, so this is a good chance for us to let all the big people out there know that next Sunday, anybody know what's happening next Sunday? Yes, we're doing a winter solstice pageant sing-along musical. I think that's the official title. Is that? Pretty sure that's the official title, yeah. So we're going to be rehearsing this morning, and so we're going to let you get back there pretty quickly. But today we're talking about something, and I want to see if you know, if you can explain it for the big folks out there so that I can skip my sermon and we can go to lunch early. All right, so today we're talking about hope. All right, so can anybody tell me what they think hope is? Give me a try.
Hope is when things don't seem like they're going well, but then you can still kind of convince yourself to believe that it will get better.
All right. So we're going to sing our closing song now. And oh no, just kidding. Awesome, that was great. Anybody else want to add to that? Man, I wouldn't either. and I literally am not. I'm not going to. But we are celebrating hope, and thank you so much, Louisa, for sharing. It's what a great way to talk about it. When it seems like things aren't going well, but you believe that things are going to get better. That's really what hope is all about, and that's what this season is all about. Because sometimes when you look outside and it's winter and it's cold and you know, that song that says the bleak midwinter, that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. And the days seem shorter, and they are shorter. So as soon as you finish dinner, it's dark outside, and it's like, oh, what's going on? But in the midst of this season, there's always hope for the spring. There's always hope for warmer temperatures, and you can pretty much bet on that here living in Columbia, South Carolina, that sometime down the road, it's coming. So that's what hope and winter solstice and Advent, all those things are about that we celebrate during this season. Next Sunday, you're going to teach us a lot about light and a lot about hope and a lot about solstice. So we look forward to hearing all that you want to share. What are you going to say? What was that? Oh, why did the chicken cross the road?
We all know this one.
Why?
To go to Bot Side.
All right. So, sorry, I may have set a standard that there's comedic expectations up here. So, you got a closing joke? I don't have to leave you with one. So we will send you out. How about the jokes later, all right? We're going to send you out for rehearsal. Miss Anna, you want also the toddlers too back there for a little bit, right? All right. So even the toddlers from the nursery, if y'all can go help Anna and rehearse for just a few minutes. But everybody meet Anna, follow everyone out, and we'll look forward to what you bring next Sunday.
Please
join. The big people want to go ahead and give them a big applause to get ready. We're excited.
Please join me in singing the children out. The words are in your bulletin.
Thank you.
Learn your lessons well, my children. Seek your truth in the wide unknown. Love each other, work together, and search for wisdom and happiness.
All right. So just so you know, the other joke before you head out, Are you still back there? I see you. I'm going to share it. I'm about to share it. Are you ready? I was standing there wondering why the Frisbee was getting bigger, and then it hit me. All right. Good job. And my job is to tie that to hope somehow, right? Maybe that's how you feel after election this cycle. I don't know. We'll see. All right, moving to our opening words. Today we're really looking at a book as a reference this morning, and a revision of that book written by Joanna Macy. And so I'm going to give her both the opening words and our closing words today to share. This is from Joanna Macy. This is a dark time filled with suffering and uncertainty. Like living cells in a larger body, it is natural that we feel the trauma of our world. So don't be afraid of this anguish that you feel, or the anger or the fear, because these responses arise from the depth of your caring and the truth of your interconnectedness with all beings. We are capable of suffering with our world, and that is the true meaning of compassion. It enables us to recognize our profound interconnectedness with all beings. Don't ever apologize for crying for the trees burning in the Amazon, or over the waters polluted from mines in the Rockies. Don't apologize for the sorrow and the grief and the rage you feel. It is a measure of your humanity and your maturity. It is a measure of your open heart. And as your heart breaks open, there will be room for the world to heal. That is what is happening as we see people honestly confronting the sorrows of our time. Out of this darkness, a new world can arise, not to be constructed by our minds so much as to emerge from our dreams. Even though we cannot see clearly how it's going to turn out, we are still called to let the future into our imagination. We will never be able to build what we have not first cherished in our hearts. At this point in our service, we create a space for this community to enact hope with each other. And our hope is our connectedness to each other and our ability to share both those things that we are celebrating as joys, but also be willing to share those things that are on our hearts, that are concerning us, that are heavy. We light candles, and we always have 7 candles to share for this time. So if you have a candle this morning that you would like to light, we invite you to come down and briefly share your joy or concern with us here.
Good morning. We're Bud and Chuck. You know, we're children of the music generation, and today is Greg Allman's birthday. He would have been 77, and it's also the same day that John Lennon died 44 years ago. But that's just a side note. We have a candle of hope and joy. We may not be here next Sunday because Jesse is going to be moving to Georgia on the 16th. And so I wanted to light this candle today because we're hopeful that he's going to be in a much better place and that we're going to have a lot less stress in our life. So this is a candle of hope and joy for us and Jesse. Thank you.
I guess I'm going to call this an offering to the goddess Freya. I've been through a lot in my life, trauma, battling addiction, heartache, and I've noticed through my healing process and my spiritual growth, people come to me, you know, not only here, but also, you know, in my other spiritual circles and even on my job. people, come to me for help. Hey, I need advice on this, I need advice on that. And I had a revelation last night. Freya said to me, you've been through a lot in your life and you haven't had anybody there for you in your past. Now you need to be there and be the love and light and spread my love, and that's where I need you in your spiritual walk. So this offering to Freya.
Good morning again, Pat Moore. This is a week, if you ever had a week when you thought you were a week behind, well, that's why I'm up here today lighting this candle. 2 weeks ago, a whole bunch of people came up here to help us put up all these decorations around. And I was not here last Sunday, so I missed thanking them. And I'm going to do something very dangerous, which is to try to tell you some names, because people need to be acknowledged. It takes time to do this kind of stuff. Jane Lauder came up here and helped us. Mary Owl was here. My daughter, Danielle, and my granddaughter, Meredith, were here. Neil Jones came by to join us. Phil Turner was here to tell us where all the skeletons were buried. So we were able to find all of the ornaments. Thank you, all of you.
So again, I get to come up with a heart of gratitude for some cool stuff that's been happening with our kids recently. But I want to make sure that there's so much to be thankful for, that everybody gets a good sense of what happened. But so about 7 years ago, 7 years ago, I had small children. And Beck Sullivan was the CYRE chair at the time. She had teenagers. And we had a lot of teenagers here, and not a lot happened for our small children. And Beck had this vision that there would be this Christmas event where parents could drop off their small children for like a day of activity, and the teenagers would take care of it. The teenagers would help do things with these little kids. And forgive me, this is really emotional here because, so we went through COVID, all of our teenagers grew up, our kids are growing up, but this event that Beck envisioned was this thing where the congregation would donate stuff, and so you've heard about these donations, a lot of you have been donating, and so the first piece of gratitude is to all the folks who have donated these things for kids to then, our small children to then shop secretly away from their parents, wrap things that they've picked out for their parents and that parents would not see until Christmas. They'd open up something that their kid just picked for them as part of this event. And this was an amazing thing. And all the kids then, remembered this event and talked about it. And it was this really big thing for parents to remember getting this random sock or like a glasses holder that they thought was a necklace, or just things like that. And so we tried to bring this back, and last year we did it for the first time. Y'all were wonderful donating things. This year it's got even bigger. And so before I get to the big part of this, Melissa was there yesterday and helped out. Nancy Shillington Perez has done a lot of work to sort of make this happen. So a lot of gratitude to those folks for this. But the coolest part was yesterday, we had our teenagers there. These kids who were little kids at the time were there yesterday, and they were amazing. Our teenagers, so Danielle, my daughter, 13-year-old Louisa, Wyatt, Elisa was there, Lucille Ureta, who's growing up. So if y'all see these teenagers, they were so cool helping all of our little guys, that come up and sit up here. It was just awesome. And they were so good. So that's just this piece of gratitude for those teenagers that are growing up with us. It's just cool. But thank you all for folks who donated too. Wow.
This morning I had a opportunity to describe who we are, and I said that we are a beloved community, beloved, and, and we're there for young, old, whomever. I have to say that I'm offering a candle of gratitude for all of you, and also prayers for me and Peck. Peck is my husband, and his dementia has taken a real downward drop. Yeah, so I don't think he'll be able to come back and worship with us. So anyway, pray for him and pray for me. I'm hoping for courage, compassion, and sense of humor. That would help, but thank you for your prayers.
Hi everyone, you've seen me a bit today. I'm Elisa Giro, and on a bit of a happier note, I've actually had a pretty good week, and I want to share some of that joy with you. On Friday, I got to go on a retreat, which basically everyone in my grade got to go to a little bit of a rundown church. It's called Our Lady of the Hills, and we did a bit of activities talking about all these things, and I realized while I was there that not everyone there was Catholic. Some of them were Baptist, Lutheran, whatever they were. And, I realized that no matter where I go, no matter what church I'm in, I always see a bit of our community because our community is founded on love. And so no matter what we were doing, what activity we were doing, I could just see a bunch of love. We didn't love everyone there. Obviously, we're teenagers, we don't love everyone. But, there was love, and I felt it, and I was really grateful for it. And so we had so much fun doing what we did. I also have family over. I have my lovely grandma Ella, and I have her husband Don over. And it's been many years since they came over. She is my stepdad's mom. And that kind of ties into the love as well, because, he's not my real dad, but he's my stepdad, and I love him so much, and I love Ella so much, and I love Don so much. And I'm so thankful they come all the way from Colorado, which is a bit of a flight, a bit of a drive. So I'm just thankful for them and just spreading the joys that I have.
Hello, I don't know if anybody recognizes me. I haven't been here in a few months. I've just been busy and other things. But a few months ago, I work at the Orangeburg County Library in Orangeburg, and a few months ago, I expressed a concern for a coworker who had a pretty severe stroke and asked you to keep her in her thoughts for her recovery. And I'm happy to say that she is back at work and probably about 90% recovered. And it was a long process, and she's not done with it, but I wanted to thank any of you who kept her in your thoughts. And also, the weekend after Thanksgiving, another one of my coworkers and her family lost their house in a fire and everything in it. And they are, the kids are with grandparents, and the adults are keeping an eye on the dogs in the yard and sleeping in the shed. And they have a long road ahead of them, and I just wanted to ask you to keep them in your thoughts. And if anybody thinks they might want to help with them, just talk to me afterwards, and I'll let you know how. But thank you. So this candle is for both of those families.
I do have one candle to light for Renee Dantes that says she would like to light a candle for her son, Matt, who is having a brain biopsy done on Tuesday, and she is flying to Houston this weekend to be with him, so not available to be in the service this Sunday. we acknowledge that even in a community like this that's close, sometimes it's still hard to share those things that are too intimate in our hearts. So we light a candle for the silent things that we are holding this morning. I invite you to take a few deep breaths, connect to those people who have shared, and feel the weight of those concerns and the elation of those celebrations. Thank you. As we prepare for our offering this morning, a quick reminder that our Share the Plate recipient throughout this month is Homeless No More, and you can contribute through several ways, including with the plate this morning. I invite our ushers to come and receive our morning offering. We receive our offering today, symbol of our commitment to our good work. I have some new neighbors that moved from Michigan to retire in South Carolina, and despite being from Michigan, they are good people. And I only put that in here for Anna, who is from Michigan, and she'll have to just get that joke later, I guess. I guess I could have said Colorado or Montana or the other places from the north where we have people visiting this morning, or coming home for 6 months. But I am really grown to love them in the short amount of time that they are there. And they were visiting family for the Thanksgiving holiday, and I've really enjoyed every moment up until this one. But they got home from Thanksgiving and they had been up to visit family in Michigan. And you've been here, you know, we have unusually cold weather right now. And you can tell you're in Columbia when it's been cold for like 2 weeks and people are still saying, oh, we're having a cold snap. Like, it's a long snap. So I'm going outside to get ready to take the kids to school and get myself to work, and my car is frozen over and it's cold, and I go outside without my jacket, and I can't remember where my jacket is because I live in South Carolina, and I have to go back in. I'm cranking my car because I don't know if y'all know this, it's really hard to drive a car with the windshield frozen over. How many people have figured that out over the past? How many people figured it out while driving down the road? It's okay, you can admit it. I'm one of those. How many people know it's really hard when the sun comes through the windshield and that's happening? So, all right, I'm just doing too much confessing. But they looked at me as I was getting the car ready, and I said, hey, welcome back. And they said, oh, we're so glad to be back to the warmer weather. What? Why don't you go back to Michigan now? But in the midst of that, it kind of got me to pause for just a second out of humor, and just we were laughing about it because obviously they were kidding. But I just kind of paused there for a second and looked around me, and our trees in the yard, the trees in the woods behind us, they seemed to be okay. They weren't stressing out too much. Squirrel went running across the lawn, picking up things, not in a hurry, just kind of taking the time to pick up a few things here and there. And I realized in that moment that in my interconnected world around me, I'm really the only one that seems to be panicking about the cold. And it made me think, like, maybe there's something that's known around me that I'm not tapping into. And I think that's so true. One of the things that I believe that winter solstice teaches us is that this earth has been dealing with cold weather and winter a lot longer than you and I have, and you just don't get anxious about it because you know it's happening. You know the sun is less during the day, the air is colder, the ground is getting colder, and if you just watch the trees, they just say, you know what? I need to conserve my energy, and these human beings seem to like the color of leaves anyway. I'll just let them go. The grass goes dormant. And someone who I know that works on lawns says, you know, I tell people all the time, your grass just needs to go to sleep. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And how calming is that to think? Flowers are just kind of dealing with it and conserving their energy. The animals around us are getting ready. And it just makes me think, like, there's so much that we don't recognize when we get caught up in the anxiety of our changing world. If we just relax and look around us, there's so much energy, so much power in getting ready for this solstice, and so much hope in the midst of this. I have a colleague that does the same work that I do for the healthcare system, that lives in Alaska and grew up in a small village on a river there in Alaska. And one time we were talking about that experience of getting ready for winter, and he said, you know what, every year the river freezes, and that's expected. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we know kind of at some point we start recognizing that entire river is going to freeze. And so there goes all of our fishing and all of our transportation that we use that river for, and we just know it's going to happen. And while we're getting ready for the river to freeze, there's work to do and things to prepare for. And then when the river freezes, we know that it's going to thaw eventually. And so because it's going to thaw, there's work to do. Work to survive the freeze, work to prepare for survival, work while we wait for these things to thaw. That's what, to me, as we are looking to the Christian calendar today that are in the midst of Advent and Advent hope, that's what hope means for me. As we look at winter solstice and the earth around us for hope, it just means that we are not waiting for some future event. we're not just doing that. There's hope in all of that, but in the midst of that, there's work that's got to be done. Hope is not something that you just sit back and wait for. Hope is something that you enact. Joanna Macy, who I referred to earlier with our opening words, wrote a book in 2012 called Active Hope, and revised it after the pandemic with a more recent edition addressing some of the things that she assessed changed after the pandemic. And she writes that passive hope is about waiting for external agencies to bring about what we desire. But active hope is about becoming active participants in the process of moving toward our hopes where we can realize them. Active hope is a practice. It's something we do rather than something that we have. In this book that she co-wrote with Chris Johnstone, she focuses primarily on the climate in the book, but addresses, especially after the pandemic, our culture as a whole. Her revision brings some perspective from that and speaks to the futility that we may feel. She shares a story that canaries were once used in coal mines to provide a warning of toxic gases. And so when the miners were in the coal mines, they would take canaries in, and when the birds got quiet, or even if the birds died, the miners knew that they were in danger of toxic air, and they needed to act quickly to get to safety. So she says, if that's true in the coal mines, that the canaries were the first sign that the air is toxic and that we should get ourselves to safety, she says, maybe we should consider the decline in bird population in our world around us, and we might hear the alarms of danger in our climate. Since 1970, nearly 3 billion birds have died in North America alone. A staggering loss that the fabric of our ecosystem seems to be unraveling. And she uses that concept to not just talk about the climate, but especially after the pandemic and other things in our culture and gun violence, there seems to be what she calls the great unraveling that is happening that affects so many people. And so our job is, in the midst of what feels like often to be this great unraveling in our culture, how do we avoid despair? And how do we avoid the sense of futility? This sense of unraveling can be very personal. It can be something you're experiencing just in yourself, in your person. It can be in your life. Or if you're reflecting on your world around you, it can feel like things are unraveling. And we have plenty of places to share our attention, to think about what it feels like to be unraveling. I think that word for me describes many of the conversations that I've had over the past few weeks with people that feel like so much is changing in our culture, so much is going backwards in our culture that we feel like there is unraveling. And I hear despair, I hear sadness, I hear grief, I hear anticipation and panic, and I often hear a sense of futility. And so this season, I'm inviting you to join me looking around at the ground, looking around at the trees, chasing the squirrel that's looking for food, that nobody seems to be panicking around us, and see if we can learn something about hope during this solstice season. In Stephen King's book, Shawshank Redemption, he has one of his character, when Andy Dufresne says that he is offering hope to people, Red says some beautiful words. He says, hope is a dangerous thing. And from a prison, he really means it. Hope is a dangerous thing, and says it can drive you mad because you avoid the reality of your situation. And Andy responds, oh, Red, hope is the only thing. But for Andy, it wasn't about sitting around and hoping something happens. It was active hope. It was chipping away at the wall, piece by piece by piece by piece, and taking a break and chipping away at the wall, piece by piece by piece. We work while we wait. We work while we wait. We work while we wait. My friend from Alaska says that's their mantra. We work while we wait, and we're always waiting on something. So while we're waiting on something, we work. And when it seems bleak, we work. And when it seems hopeless, we work. And when it seems futile, we work. And when it seems like we cannot and will not make a dent in the wall, we keep chipping and chipping and chipping. Joanna Macy invites us to this active hope, and the responsibility on us becomes not just talking about hope as a concept or waiting, but finding ways to activate our hope. She has a project that I think would be great for us to consider here in our congregation. She calls it the work that reconnects. And I just wonder if we just need some kind of format for activating our hope, because this is a very hopeful place. So how can we activate our hope? She has 4 steps that you use to connect and reconnect back to your work, and some great principles that sound in their nature. The first is to come from a place of gratitude, which means that you choose to walk in a way of gratitude. Can you be grateful for what you have around you in the midst of despair and futility? I invited you a few weeks ago as a congregation to look at the people on your right and look at the people on your left. And just so you know, Lissa, when we get to be adults, we do love each other. You grow out of that. All these folks adore each other. Yeah. Right? As I hear a little sarcasm in there. My question is, can you look at someone who you may be even in conflict with and say, I'm still grateful for you. I'm still grateful to be a part of this community, even when we don't agree on something, even when we don't get along, even when we're struggling to see our points connect. I'm still grateful that you have the courage to show up, to be in this space, to be in this community. I am grateful for you. The second step, she says, is to honor our pain and our grief. And we aren't great at this in our culture. We think grief is something that you do like a drive-through restaurant. I know even in in the other place where I work in the healthcare system, we switched to a 3-day grief bereavement policy, and it was so benevolent. But it also sets this expectation. You have a death in your family, you got 3 days to get over it. And then it's back to work. And then you got to be over it at that point. And we know about grief that on any moment of any given day, it can hit you. Remember watching each other just a few weeks ago? Not every tear that was shared during our Dia de los Muertos service was about grief that was very recent. Some of it was years ago. So we have to honor our pain and our grief, and especially with what we're dealing with in our culture, we have to honor the losses and the wounds of living and surviving in this culture. We have to look at our climate around us and honor our grief about what's happening around us. It's not a hope that tries to avoid the pain, but a hope that embraces it and acknowledges the hurt. And then she says, if you do that, and if you embrace that, it connects you to your humanity and actually opens eyes that you didn't know you still had. So her third step is to see with the new and the ancient eyes, connecting with the reality of our situation and embracing our gratitude, acknowledging the pain and the cathartic emotions of being human will open our eyes and give us clarity. And she says these eyes have been there all along. And now they're just reopening for us. These are ancient eyes, eyes that are connected to our ancient earth that will open for us when we acknowledge our humanity and our struggle and our pain with each other. And then the last step is the hard work of going forth and coming up with strategic action of what we do. Work while we wait, work while we hope. Are we willing to do the work? I believe that hope has to be not just grounded in concepts, not just grounded in the looking into the future and rolling the dice that things are going to get better. I really don't think that hope spends so much time on the future anyway. I think hope is very present, and it has to be grounded in something that you believe. The nature of our world around us believes that the world's going to keep spinning and rotating around the sun, and the ground will eventually warm again. And we think we're so awesome with our minds of how we understand how all that happens. And I could just about ask any of you how all that happens with the earth spinning and how long it takes for the earth to spin around on its axis and get around the sun in a year. And I said almost all of you. I'm hoping all of you know that there's amount of days in a year. I don't know that the rest of the earth and the animals around us, maybe. I've never talked to them about it. I don't know that they understand all that, but they understand it on a very deeper level that you and I can tap back into, because they believe that the sun is going to rise, the earth is going to warm, and they have hope, and the peace in the bleak midwinter rest in that belief that life, even when it seems dormant, even when it seems to be going backwards, even when it seems to be completely futile, there's still energy bubbling beneath the surface for love and life. We say it every Sunday. We believe that love is the center of what we value here. And even though that's a new illustration on our order of service, it is really still connected to what we've always believed, that love is grounded in who we are. It is what we believe. And we believe that in the power of love, that power is centering us on all that we do and all that we are. Belief is always in a relationship. Even with the creeds that some of our Christian neighbors do, the belief is still in a relationship. Sometimes people will say, well, Christians believe all these things, that God created the earth and all these things that are in the creed. And I'm sorry, I can't recite the entire Apostles' Creed or the Nicene Creed. But even in that community, we believe in God who did all these things. Belief at its core and its understanding as a word is always in a relationship with something or someone, not in a set of facts. So belief is always relational. So what does that mean for you and for me? That if our hope has to be grounded in belief, our hope has to be grounded in love. I know what it means for me, standing here this morning, and it's very simple. I believe in you.
Music, like belief, is always relational. And so I would invite you to join me in singing our closing song, number 346, Come Sing a Song With Me, and has graciously picked one of the most guitar-friendly things in the entire old hymnal for that. So please stand if you're willing and able. And is Chuck coming up? No? I think I have a little tuning to do before we start, though. Okay, that won't hurt your ears now. Come sing a a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. I'm gonna put a little break in there so y'all can breathe, and I can too. Ready? Here we go. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Very good. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Let's get soft with this one. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Thank you, Kevin, and I do hope you come back next Sunday. Beautiful music that the CYRE program and Anna, they are preparing for us for next Sunday. I'm going to amend our closing words. I'm going to first read Joanna Macy's words that I was going to share, and that is, action isn't a burden to be hoisted up and lugged around on our shoulders. It is something that we are. The work we have to do can be seen as a kind of coming alive more than some moral imperative. It is awakening to our true nature, a releasing of our gifts. And my amendment comes from the words of Louisa from Our Story for All Ages, one of those teenagers, the daughter of Jonathan that was shared. And that is that hope means even when things aren't going the way you want, you believe they can get better.
Indeed. May the blessings of truth be upon us. May the power of love direct us. And may the peace of this community sustain us till we meet again.
Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate the people stepping in for music. Kevin and Janice and Karen helping out with Anna's, giving her the ability to go back and work with the kids. If you're visiting with us here today, if you're an old friend like Nina, we hope that you stick around and give us a chance to get to know you. If you're a new friend, We want to get to know you as well, and give you a chance to get to know us. And if you have tough questions, remember what was shared by Pat. Don't come to me. I have literally said all that I know to say this morning, so find one of those board members and ask them the tough questions, and I'll stand in the corner and watch. Thank you for being here.
This joy that I had, the world didn't give it to me. Oh no, this joy that I had, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I had, the world didn't give it to me. No, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Hope that I had, the world didn't give it to me. This hope that I had, the world didn't give it to me. This hope that I had, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it, can't take it away.